Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Flip. We got an awesome guest today with us, Christopher Aaron Smith of iDoctor Savannah, right?
Yeah. Savannah, iDoctor.
Yes, the Savannah iDoctor. So, guys, we're bringing him on today. Matt will be joining us here in a little bit. Before we get started, though, just want to thank you guys and welcome you guys back to another episode of the Smart Flip. Remember, there's a whole bunch of resources and stuff in the description. Free ebook, episode 11 of the podcast. Make sure to check that out if you want to listen to it on audio. We're going to be jumping in to this podcast pretty quick today. Chris only has a little bit of time. Um, but I did want to get him on because we got to meet each other again at the expo 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
for the second time. So, but dude, how you doing?
Good, man. I'm not gonna lie, just pushing out content. That's really been my main focus lately is pushing out content, making sure we got a lot of uh engaging content to get
Yeah.
us more leads.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what does that look like as a repair shop owner pushing out content? Like, does that get you a good amount of leads in a local area?
It absolutely does. I didn't realize I was always one to kind of stay behind the scenes. I didn't want to, be out in the forefront. But I came to the realization that um marketing was changing.
Yeah.
It was when it came down to just, visuals and flyers, they just weren't doing the job anymore. And when I started to kind of just it was all by accident. It wasn't planned. But when that one video that I did with my kids about 2.5 years ago, when that video just kind of went crazy and went viral on social media, I said, wow, maybe I can get some leads by just being an extra in the video.
Yeah.
And that's when I built the family content brand. And then it just got to the point where the family content brand was pretty good, but it was just more of entertainment. People just
Hmm.
like watching the videos, or people, kids just like watching them. It wasn't until here recently, maybe about 3, 4 months ago, where I kind of took a break from doing the family content and said I need to figure out how to do what I did with the family content and do it with my actual brand.
Yeah.
So I took some time and just studied, I watched a lot of videos, I took a lot of notes, a lot of trial and error. And it just, once I found an actual formula, that worked, it was just skyrocketed from there. When you get people that come in and when they see me, when they actually like look for my
Yeah.
face and they see you kind of notice the eyes light up. So that's really how I know that they came in from a video. Or a lot of times it'll just be kids just nagging their parents, hey, you need to take it to the eye doctor. You need to take it to the eye doctor. Parent will come in and say, yeah, he's been saying I need to bring it to the eye doctor. So I'm finally here, and it's normally a game console or something like that. But
Yeah.
it works. I didn't think it was that effective, but it's free marketing. And then when you put ads behind it, you kind of doubling your money.
Yeah, I was told by my mentors a while back that ads, like good ads, are basically good organic content with money behind it. And I was like,
That's what it is.
that's all it is. Like, it was like,
Somebody, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just saying, like, Laurel Portier taught me that. And, I felt kind of dumb after I heard it because I knew how true it was. And I was just like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. All my good organic stuff usually does really well. Um, and like she's like just put money behind it after it like loses its like novelty, and just like keep it there. And I was like, all right, cool.
I had, I don't know if you know Flau'jae that plays for LSU. Her her mom told me the exact same thing. She said, because she's her manager. She's Flau'jae's manager, her mom. So she said, if you got like good content, just run it as an ad, run
Yep.
ads behind it, and boom, you got,
Yeah, man.
you know, you double
100%.
down on.
You can also manufacture a lot of it too, Like a lot of people don't know that is like if you can so I do this with one of my courses right now. The pinned post on my Facebook account right now, I'll run it as an
Mhm.
ad every now and then. But the thing is I have like it leads to a free course And at the end of the course, one of the assignments is to leave a review comment on that post. So it like just
Uh-huh.
keeps pushing it, and I just keep running it as an ad, and it has like hundreds of comments, or I think it has like 76 right now. But like all of the
Yeah.
comments, me included, is like a few hundred. But like you can manufacture it too if you know what to do. That's one
Hmm.
thing that I found, now like in a local space, um, I think it's funny, like the businesses that stand out nowadays are the ones that are entertaining, you know? Like
Yeah.
if you can almost like create a story around your brand with videos and reels and things like that, it's just so cool,
Hmm.
Like people like that stuff a lot. And
Yeah. That's what people. That's what I've been trying to get people to understand, and I the only reason I push it so hard is because I know it works. Some people just, in business in general, I mean, people just getting lazy. They think that the old way is going to work forever.
yeah,
But unfortunately, the old way is not going to work forever. I had a lady that came in. She was head of marketing for a company. And this was, I don't know, maybe like a year ago. And she even told me, I asked her, what is it like, in marketing? Because she worked with, big brands and big companies. And she told me, she said that the marketing space is changing completely because it's going um, from like the flyer based type content and the real generic type content to real true organic like work people have them having to work with influencers in order to get people to buy that brand.
yeah.
You make sense. So once when I decided to just kind of get out into the forefront and actually be the face of the brand and be a little bit more organic with the content and put some entertaining content out there, um, that's when I realized that now because nobody else wants to do it, especially in this type of industry. A lot of guys in repair industry or just flipping devices, they rather just kind of sit behind and not be the face of it. But you have to put your face out there now because people shop with people they trust at this
Yeah.
point. So if they don't feel like they can trust you, then they just if you're not already a big brand like Kroger or Publix or something like that. But when it comes down to small business, they have to be able to trust you first. And I call content, I call it try before you buy. And that's what I do. That's what I call it. It's like it's a sure method. If they see you on their feed all the time because you're running a specific ad and that ad is pretty engaging, before you know it, now they've seen you so much to where now they trust you. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna go to this place. I'm gonna go to that place, and that's just what makes us stand out. In our local market, we may not always, we're not perfect. We're not perfect by any means, but I can tell you that we definitely have the market, our local area, in a chokehold when it comes to marketing because nobody else wants to do the hard work, which is study content marketing and get better at marketing your business.
Yeah, man. I mean, and especially in a local market, it honestly doesn't take that much
It
to go
does.
crazy. Like people don't realize that. It like if you're just trying to and I tell a lot of like clients this, like it doesn't take that long to dominate your area, especially with flipping. Like
Hmm.
like nobody takes flipping seriously as a business. So like if you do, it's going to be very easy to dominate your market in a very short amount of time. Like a lot of people think, "Oh, Chris, it'll take 2 to 3 years." I'm like, dude, it will only take 2 to 3 years. Like it won't even take that long. Like that's not long in terms of
Yeah, it's
business
not long.
at all. A lot of people want to dominate their market in 60, 96 months, but like people have to see you enough to trust you, right? And you know that just by creating content.
Yep.
I like what you say there is like trust before you buy, and that 100%, dude. Like
Yeah. Before
there's
you
been
buy.
there's been many people, podcasters, and I've listened to a lot of their stuff before I ever purchased something, but that's because their
Yep.
trust level was built so high at that point, like it
Hmm.
hit the precipice, like that they were the only one that I thought of whenever I was going to look to buy a product that they had.
Looking at it from a consumer standpoint, you being the consumer, you basically their consistency is what caused you to trust them because you see them consistent. Their message stay consistent,
Yes.
and when your message stays consistent and you stay consistent with the message, before you know it, people will just come in. You're the first person that comes to their mind.
Yeah. I've actually seen that in my own business, with Recelerator and everything. Is like I'll have people join my stuff and they'll be like, "You were just so consistent with your content. You've been saying the same thing for 3 or 4 years." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like I got 2,000 videos on flipping on my YouTube channel, like." And they're like, there's a lot of other people out there that have more subscribers than me. They have
Hmm.
more views than me. Most of my podcast episodes only hit 200 to 400 views right now,
Hmm. Which
you
is
know?
still not. I mean, 400 views is,
Yeah. I mean, in a very niche market, like, and a
yeah,
lot of people don't realize that, like, you can go viral in a niche market. Like in the flipping market, if you're going after the right people, maybe 1,000 views is honestly a lot.
yeah.
Like let's be real. If there's only, let's say, 25,000 flippers total that are taking business seriously, and you hit a
Hmm.
thousand of them, that is going viral in a niche, right?
Yeah.
You can do the same thing in a local market, right? If you're creating good content, like I tell my guys all the time, like take photos or start doing reels instead of the photos now with your
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah.
Showcase the live, like actual customer experience.
Experience. Yeah.
And if you do that, dude, it'll be so easy to win people over. It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
but
And then that's actually how I started with doing the content here for the business. I excuse me. There's nothing new under the sun. Almost everything is repurposed and redone. Um, but there's a guy, Money Talk Wireless. When I wanted to take my business content serious, I said, you know what, I'm just going to do what he did. And I literally did the exact same thing. It's a video customer interaction. Customer comes in, you show the camera what's wrong with the phone. You ask the customer what happened to your phone. The customer tell you what happened to it, and he says, "Don't worry, I got you." He does it
same
over
thing
and
every time.
same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised. He's been so consistent and he's been doing it for so long. Even though he's been doing the exact same thing for so long, you never know which one of those videos is just gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
And then once one of those videos go crazy, before you know it, you got a bunch of people coming back looking at your stuff, and it creates like a snowball effect.
Yep.
So even though my videos are, I feel like my videos are like the greatest videos on YouTube, right? But there's
Mhm.
still creators that have been on YouTube and they've been being consistent for way longer than I have. So just because I feel like my videos are better, they've been consistent for much longer. So it's going, it'll take time for the algorithm to pick up my videos or pick up whatever I'm doing and
Yeah.
start pushing it in the algorithm. Eventually it'll happen, but the consistency just comes along with it. You got
Oh
to be
yeah.
consistent with it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize like the level of consistency it takes to actually make stuff happen, you know?
Hmm.
How long you have to do something. Like if you can stay consistent for like let's say 30 days, you can get a lot done. A lot
Yeah.
done. People don't realize that. But like it's one of those things is like once you see what can be done, you can't unsee it, right?
Yeah.
This proved it to me whenever I did 75 hard the first time. Like the fact that I could do something for 75 days straight, it changes your life at that point. And it
Hmm.
and it applies to content. It applies to pretty much everything that you do. Like
Hmm.
we built like a power list for phone flippers, where like
Hmm.
you need to do a certain amount of reach outs a day. You need to track your revenue and profit every day. You need to learn for about 30 minutes a day. Like if you do like little things like that it all compounds. The great thing about knowledge is it compounds over
Yeah.
and over again. And it won't stop either if you just like keep doing it because life doesn't stop. You're going to get experience whether you like it or not. Um, one of the greatest things that was ever told to me was like, uh, it was during 75 hard. It wasn't too long ago either. It's like the 45 minutes is going to pass whether you're doing the work or not. So you might as well just
Yeah.
do the work.
And the thing is, even with the consistency, speaking of the content, I mean, in whatever you do, it gets easier over time. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, it seemed kind of hard. It was hard for me to. You got it back? No. Hold on, I'm on the podcast. Right? So so
It's all good. This is
so
real, dude. This is real stuff.
so basically, it was hard to come up with a script. You take the time to think out a script. You take the time to think out like what shots you want to have in the video. You got to, type it out to make sure it's engaging. You got to go through the actual recording process. Um, the longer, the more I did it, the easier it became.
Yeah.
The first time that I did it, and mind you, I did a whole lot of studying before I even decided to use an actual framework, or a storytelling framework, because that's really
Yep.
what we do is, you create a story and you just tell a story, but the key is to find an engaging way to tell that story. And I
Hmm.
learned that Jenny Hoyos. I learned that from her. So
Nice.
after I watched her YouTube videos religiously for like 2 weeks, I'm talking about like I was always learning something. I was like, I want to be good at this, so I need to find out how can I be great at it, and what do these people do? What are they doing to repeat this process over and over again? So after doing that first video on our family channel, I said, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have my child, fix a phone. Oh, it was an iPad. I'm gonna have her fix an iPad. I'm gonna try to tell a story with it. I didn't have a shot list, none of that. This was just all kind of on the whim. Now I took it home. It took me 3 hours to edit a 50-second video.
Yeah,
Like,
that's how it is in the beginning, though. You don't know
uh,
where anything is.
so it took me 3 hours to edit that video, but that video got us over 5 million views.
Damn.
And that video got us thousands of subscribers, just that one video. And I said, wow. I sat down, I did everything she said. I found a way to tell the story. I made it engaging. It was kind of funny because I left the organicness inside the video because
Yeah.
she took she was recording me finishing up the video, and she took the microphone and put it to her face, and she said, "Ah!" And I said, "Why would you do that?" And she said, "I want to hear it." It just was a funny moment,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's what made it kind of go crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. That's awesome. So I love the content part, but I do want to move to the repair and flipping side of the business a little bit. I'm wondering if there is like I'm wondering if do you have a synergy when it comes to the repair and the flipping? Like, is there one that you do more than the other? Are they combined at all? Like, what does that look like in your business?
Um, I'm gonna be honest, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I hit them up. They kind of go hand in hand because the the buybacks is like a complement to the repair side,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, yeah, 100%.
So having a store just kind of is like a plus because if now they have a central location, we don't have to do like meetups and none of that. They can just come in, and bring whatever they have. But as of late, I've been doing a whole lot more, buybacks than I was before because when I stopped doing it, you notice the difference in like the income and
Oh
traffic and
yeah.
stuff. So when I noticed that, okay, well, I'm not selling as many phones as I normally would, or I don't have as many phones in stock as I would like. If I got people coming in, they want to purchase. Hold on just one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go down there. Orlando, see if Cusco's down the street if I go down there. Yeah, my bad. So,
All good.
um,
You're a working man. I understand, dude.
So yeah, basically when I realized that, okay, I'm not doing nothing on eBay. I know, personally, if I have devices in store, we can finance more devices. We can finance more devices when we have devices in stock, right? Sorry. So I had to let them know this is being recorded.
Yeah, all
Just trying
good.
to minimize my noise. So, um, if we win on financing devices when we do more buybacks. The more buybacks we do, the better we win on like the financing portion of it with RTO, and that's the people who come in and pay 35, 45 every
Yeah,
2 weeks on in-house financing, basically.
sure.
So we went on the in-house financing with those buybacks. When I realized, okay, I'm not getting out contracts, my eBay is not doing nothing, and all I'm focusing on is repairs. That's when I say, you know what, I need to get back. Sometimes you just got to go back to the basics,
Yeah, man.
like gotta get back to the stuff that got you where you are or where you are. And that's really all I had to do is I just had to take a moment and just get back to the basics. And the basics was, you know, buying devices. That's really what it was.
There was something told to me a while back was like the experts never don't do the basics,
Yeah.
right? Like the experts always do the basics no matter what. And it's because they've gone through that learning cycle of like where they learn this one thing, right? And then they learn this other thing, and now they're trying to do the two things at the same time. And now they're having trouble keeping the first thing that they learned afloat. And then they end up back at the first thing because the first thing worked
Yeah, the first
incredibly
thing.
well, you know? Like this is why I always caution people about starting repairs and buybacks at the same time. It's like
Uh-huh.
if you don't have the repair experience already, like I'd recommend just going with buybacks because it's easier to
Hmm.
start. But if you have repair experience, great. Just add the buybacks as a complement to what you already do. Because let's be
Yep.
real, and you'd probably know this better than anybody, repairs is much more difficult to learn than buybacks.
Correct.
There's way, like, whenever I tried to learn it, I was like, hell nah. Like,
Yes.
like, I am
Yeah.
good, man. I will stick with
Yeah,
the
the
buyback.
learning curve on it is too. It's because there's so many variables when it comes down to repairs.
Yeah,
It could be 100 different things going wrong with it on the phone that you just purchased. Now you don't want to put too much money into something that could be a bottomless pit. That
yeah,
makes sense. I mean, when you eat your profit up, now you got all this money into something, you losing money.
yeah.
So that in itself is a learning curve alone.
So it sounds like you got a pretty streamlined process between the repairs and the buybacks now. So
Hmm.
what does that look like? Like, how do you determine when you do a buyback if it needs to be repaired? What does that process look like? Like, let's say you do a buyback, it might need to be repaired or it might not. Like, depending on what does your
Hmm.
cycle look like?
So we typically, if it's damaged or anything of that sort, obviously it's gonna affect the price. But we make sure, like, when the device comes in, we make sure we can remove all of, if we do whatever we need to do to at least remove that information off of the phone, because we want to make sure it's functional, at least, whether it needs a battery or whether it needs a back glass. In most cases, not, you can throw that box in the trash. It's trash. In most cases, if we slap a screen on there, we long enough to get the information off of it, as long as it's not overheating or anything like that. Sometimes we'll have an issue where later on down the line we find out there was more than what we thought
Mm,
was wrong with it. That's why I always make sure we offer. I never go over a certain limit on these phones specifically, simply because, like, I'm in the business to make money.
yeah.
So the customer knows, like, listen, the phone is pretty much garbage, but whatever, if they take it to Eco ATM, they might get 15
Yeah,
dollars.
right.
So, if we offering 30, like, they're gonna take that 30, because they, now more than likely they already went, someplace else and they told them, oh, it's trash, it's worth nothing.
Yep.
But if it's an iPhone 12 that we purchased for $20, and the front is smashed up, back is smashed up. I'm just using this as an example. And then we have a housing that was from one that was cloudy, like it was iCloud lot when we did purchase it still for parts. All I need to do is take the motherboard and the important parts and swap it over into the new one. Now I have a brand new iPhone 12 that's literally sitting in the display case right now that we um paid $20 for and just slapped a new screen on there and a brand new housing that we purchased, for parts. So all together we might have, 50, $60 into it, but it's gonna sell for 250.
Yeah.
Um
That's awesome.
yeah, so that's that. I mean, that's pretty much how we do it. We want to um make sure we don't offer too much. That's number one. And number two, we make sure it's at least, functional to where we can rebuild it. And from there, we just kind of I just kind of go off of, market value, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So, but I mean, it's not a difficult process. It's really not. The
Yeah.
goal is to just make sure you offer what it's worth at least.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I mean,
And,
it sounds like,
and if it's
you
not
definitely got to flow.
if it's damaged to the point where sometimes we don't buy it. So if it's damaged to the point where we can't rebuild it to resell it, then we'll just buy it for parts. Worst case scenario, we'll buy it for parts, $20. You walk out with $20 in your
Yeah.
pocket and a phone that was sitting in your drawer for 6 months.
Makes sense. I like it.
Yeah.
So, how many phones do you have in inventory now? Like total, broken, used, damaged. Like, what does that look like on a daily basis?
um
Yeah, he's looking around his office like, oh my God.
I mean, we got a boneyard. Like
Yeah,
we have, uh, we call it. I call it a boneyard. It's really, phones, a bunch of phones that we just have for parts. I mean, at any moment we could have, I mean, 100 phones in here. You
yeah,
know, just whether it's for parts or whatever. But as far as like for sale, typically we have anywhere from like 10 to 20 devices that's like on display for sale. And that's gonna change
yeah.
actually. Still
What all do
working
you
on that.
guys do with eBay? I know you were talking about eBay a little bit earlier. I know there's a lot of people that number one hate eBay, but I've seen it as just an incredible tool. As long as you don't screw up.
Yeah. I mean eBay is easy money if you ask me. I was upset with myself when I started back selling on eBay and I think we did like almost $4,000 in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I was like, why? I was like, why did I stop? And then that was for
Yeah,
me, it was just like extra money because I mean, I got a device I put, $100 into, turn around and it's sold on eBay for, 300, you know, after fees, I got, $175, just extra money.
yeah.
Not
A
to
lot.
mention, thanks to you, those Oculuses, oh my God.
Well, that's not me. That would be Matt Shirley, but
Yeah, those were whatever those Oculuses, buying them. I didn't realize people would sell them for so low. So we would pay 50, $60 on an
yeah,
Oculus and replace the band on it, shine it up real good, get it reset, and they sell on eBay for 150 easy.
yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's those the MetaQuest 3 has been really good lately.
Uh-huh.
Um, the Quest 3S is the Quest 3S is okay. But
Hmm.
but if you move up a little bit more, you get like the MetaQuest Pro and then you move to the high-end VR, like Valve
Hmm.
Index and stuff, like that's where you just start like killing it. Um,
Yeah.
I got a lot of students now who, we've enabled Marketplace Monitor and they're getting notifications for Valve indexes and making 3, 4, $500 in profit off of one headset. So it's wild stuff. So yeah, the VR, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen here in the next couple. I think we'll be flipping more like glasses and VR type of things than we will be phones within the next 5 years. That's my prediction. I got the
Yeah.
Meta glasses recently, and
Uh-huh.
dude, like for version one, wild. Feels like
I
It's
want those
crazy.
so bad. I really do. I want those
I couldn't buy one locally yet. So I was like, I just went and just bought it retail.
just bought it flat out. Yeah.
Yeah, I never do that, but I couldn't find any. Um, so I went and just bought it, and I was like, yeah, this is we're gonna be flipping these really soon. Like once the market catches on, because usually it's around the second or third version where things really catch on,
Mm-hmm.
um, and market and the marketplace starts reacting and all of that stuff. But um, yeah, like in a few years, I think we'll be flipping much different devices than
Hmm.
just phone. I mean, we already are, but like the MetaQuests are great. They're my the console coach Matt, he calls them base hits a lot,
Hmm.
where like when phones are slow, it's like consoles and stuff, and VR is just hitting, you know.
Yeah,
Because phones have like a weird cycle to them. Like you'll get like a whole bunch all at once, and then it'll die off a little bit, and then it'll come back. It's very weird.
it
Um,
is.
but like with the consoles, it's pretty steady. Of people just like getting rid of them, and I like them a lot because there's less emotional attachment to the consoles and VR and stuff than there is to phones.
Hmm.
Because people use their phones on a daily basis. They don't use the other things on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
those consoles and those are more like entertainment. So if they find something else to occupy their time, it's like
Yeah.
it's I don't want it. I don't want it no more.
I think it
We
makes a
weren't
great filler.
at one point we weren't even dealing in a lot of consoles, even like console repairs. I got to
Yeah. Oh,
do
look
it.
at that.
I got to do the HDMI port on this Series S.
Did you do Ben's training on HDMI? No,
No.
you learned it yourself? Nice. Nice.
I'm
Yeah, the HDMI repair is man, that's
what
a
I,
lot.
well what I did do was to perfect it, I
Yeah.
did shout out to Jesse Cruz.
Oh yeah. He works with him, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, Jesse has this hot swap method. So I learned that hot swap method from Jesse. So now an HDMI port, it literally take less than 5 minutes for me to pop it off and pop a new one on there. So
Nice.
it takes longer to disassemble the device than it does to actually repair the HDMI port.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard I learned from Ben because he took Recelerator probably 2 years ago, and we showed him
Mhm.
how to run ads to buy gaming consoles. And dude, he went on like a spree of just buying
Wait,
broken consoles.
Recelerated teaches people how to run ads?
Yeah, that's the main thing we do.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram, all of it.
I
Google.
might need I need to take Recelerator. I might or I might have my VA take
We can talk
Recelerator.
after this. We train teams, dude. So,
Yeah.
we got a whole thing. But we taught Ben how to run ads specifically for buying consoles, and
Hmm.
all he would do is buy broken consoles and fix them and then flip them, and like that
That's
became his
that
whole strategy.
that is that is a money maker right
Yeah,
there.
I mean, fixing and flipping consoles is a whole niche in itself, dude, and
Yeah. I want
nobody's doing it.
I want to do that more often. We don't run ads for it. We do it, but we don't run ads for it. And I feel like if we ran ads for it, we would definitely kill it. We get
100%.
plenty consoles in here because we do buy consoles from people and we'll just replace not more than most of the time it's just the HDMI port that need to be replaced.
Yeah,
And we'll HDMI port, what I do is I'll actually even uh buy like a new casing for it and make it look
yeah.
nice and pretty. God of War casing or Spider-Man casing. Yeah,
There you go.
and you kind of up the price on it a little bit,
Yep.
and you could easily sell one of those reused PS5, 350.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people like there's so much money in consoles. People just don't even realize. Like a lot of people, like in our Facebook group, they're always like, "Yeah, but how do you test it?" And like, "How do you know it's not broken?" And I'm like, "Bro, just like plug it in and turn it on, like, and buy it for like what you can flip it for broken. Like,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
buy it for your break even price, and you literally can't lose. Like, if
Yeah,
you buy an Oculus Quest 2 for $70 right now, you can't lose that. Like, one controller sells for $60.
yeah.
Like, so it's like, how can you lose? You know?
Well, I guess it really it's like a mindset type thing. I think that when
It is.
you have to, yeah, you have to operate out of a abundance mindset. If you think everything is going to be wrong, then everything is going to be wrong. But um if you find ways to get over those obstacles, then at that point, like you're winning.
Yeah.
So I look at it even in business, I look at everything as obstacles. So do I have what it takes to overcome these obstacles? If you have what it takes to overcome whatever obstacles life throws your way, then you can't lose. You're a winner regardless. So when I see a lot of people in just the electronics industry or the cell phone industry are very pessimistic when it comes the industry has been dying for 10 years ever since I started. So let's get that out the way. They've been saying that the repair industry or electronics industry is dying for 10 years, but there's a difference between dying and changing.
Yes.
So that's all it is it's just changing. And you have to be able to adapt to whatever that change is. When it comes to marketing, how we used to market has changed. So a lot of shops are they're failing. They don't see themselves as being successful is because they haven't adapted to the new way of marketing your business.
Yep.
And they expect people to just walk in the door, and people are not just gonna walk in the door anymore, especially like with Google
Yeah.
ads changing and stuff like that. We don't even run Google ads anymore, and I haven't even seen a difference in my business anymore. We still get the same amount of leads. What we get even more buybacks, even more buyback stuff now.
Well,
But
you've been around for a long time too. So that's one of the reasons is you also build a brand. Like
yeah,
that's the key there is like whenever we have like new guys start, we start them on Google Ads and I'm telling them like if you do this correctly, like within 6 months, if you build up 100 reviews on your buyback GMB, like congratulations, you got organic traffic now. Like by default. It's very difficult to do that with repairs because you're a lot of times you're fighting like 20 different other repair shops in the area for SEO. Like you don't have to fight anybody most of the time for buyback SEO
yeah,
because nobody takes it seriously.
yeah,
Like like it blows my mind. Like I tell people all the time, it's like, look, you can run Google ads, Facebook ads for 6 months, and if you do it correctly, you get a couple thousand leads, you get a couple hundred reviews. Congratulations, you have a business now that is probably sellable
yeah.
that brings you in probably 4 to 5 grand in profit per month
Hmm.
organically if you do it right. You have to do it right though. Like you
Hmm.
have to get the reviews. You got to aim to get a review from every single customer that you meet up with. And yeah, it's hard and it's a skill. But if you want to learn it and you want to make it happen, you have to do it. Like that's just business. You were talking about obstacles. I see a money bag on the other side of every single obstacle that I solve. Like that's how I view obstacles. If something is hard, great. Most of the people are going to quit, and I'm the only one that's going to figure it out.
Exactly, exactly,
So,
exactly.
like, I already know, like, if something is hard, 90% of people are just going to stop.
Yeah.
I do know that you have a call coming up, so I want to wrap this up, but we'll definitely have you on again. I just want to ask like one last question. Um, if you could restart your business today with all the knowledge that you have now, what would you do
Hmm.
differently?
Man, if I could restart my business with all the knowledge I have now, what would I do differently? That's actually a really good question. What would I do differently? Um, I would probably, I probably hire, I would put more systems in place
Mm,
to make sure that I don't have to be present so often.
yeah.
So I would spend more time on perfecting the system of how everything works, and have handbooks and you know trainings, train video training, my own personal video training libraries. I would have all of that stuff set up first to make sure that the business runs smoother when I'm not available.
Yeah.
Will make sense?
Yeah.
I I
Systems,
would
dude.
definitely, yeah, I definitely put a lot more time into systems. It wasn't until recently I realized I needed to have more systems in place because if I'm getting asked questions 15 times a day, that means that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the same question 15 times.
Yeah.
Just 15
100%.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the way my mind works is if I've done something, if I do something 10, 15, 20 times in a day, now I mentally I know the process to find the answer to the problem that I've been faced.
Yeah.
But most people don't just go and find the answer to the problem that they face. They'll just go to somebody who knows the answer to that problem to cut their time short. So
Yeah.
now in the repair industry, it's kind of hard to have like a full system because a lot of times there are variables, but like for instance, if something comes in real quick and the customer's like, well, it's doing this, it's doing that, we need to have a system. Okay, what do we do? Do we have the technician do a quick look at it real quick? And if he has to spend more than 10 minutes on it, at that point, well, we just tell the customer, yeah, we don't have a quick solution for you. It's gonna be a diagnosis and they have to pay the diagnosis for us to do a run a full diagnostic on
Mm.
it. But I think I'm actually gonna put that in place. If we can't
Heck yeah.
do a quick look at it, and if it takes us more than 10 minutes to identify the immediate issue, because at times when we just slow, you don't want to tell somebody, yeah, no, we can't look at it. It's a diagnosis fee. We're not gonna look at it real quick. If it's slow, we got 10 minutes to help out the customer and try to figure out exactly what it is because we rather know exactly what it is and give them a price right then and there than to just kind of guess. Oh, it could be this, it could be that.
Probably use
So
that as
yeah,
a marketing opportunity too, dude. It's a offer
yeah,
on your ads or something like a 10-minute free diagnosis.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee you that would bring
A
people.
free quick analysis.
Hey, the eye doctor over here offers a free 10-minute diagnosis. Go to him,
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So yeah, that's definitely what I would do. Is I just put a lot more systems in place to where I didn't have to be present as
Yeah.
often.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, I know you said you had a call, so I don't want to hold you up too much. But yeah, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on. We'll have to have you on again. I know you
Yeah,
have a
I
wealth of
would
knowledge.
love to do this again. I love
Yeah.
to do it again. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
we'll have to go deep next time on like social media, because I nerd out on that stuff too. So, um, but yeah, dude, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely do this again, because I know you just have a wealth of knowledge. Next time we'll make it a little 2 hour one.
Mhm.
Give the
Yeah, that's
people.
fine. Yeah, we can definitely go deeper on the social media, and just for the record, I'm gonna do a shameless plug. If anybody in the repair industry out there, you need help with your content, just
Yeah,
let us know. I have a repair content starter pack. Right now, it's only
nice.
$25. So yeah,
Can
just
you
get
send
that.
that over to me so I can put it in the document that I'm going to put as a companion guide with this podcast?
Yeah, I got you. I'll send it over to you.
Cool. We'll put
Yeah,
that in
and
the first comment below, guys.
it's basically a starter kit. It gives you simple ideas, of what you can do, to make your content a little bit better. It's really simple. When it comes to content, it's visual hooks. You want to be in visual hooks. You want engagement. Call to action, stuff like that. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to get on camera. A lot of times, you can. It's just B-roll, and you can just tell a story, and you can be consistent with that. When you find something that clicks, you just wash, rinse, and repeat. But it is a starter pack. Just let me know if you want that, and just tell them Chris sent you. You get the Chris discount.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of the Smart Flip. Appreciate you coming on, Chris. We'll do this again. And for those of you that are checking all the stuff out, make sure to check all the description stuff below. Check out the ebook, audiobook on episode 11 of the podcast. And I will put Chris's details in the first comment below so that you guys can check out all of his stuff, his socials, all of that, and go from there. See you guys on the next episode.